The title of this podcast is Don't Be Bitter, Be Better. This was inspired by a lyric from a song that my friend Tim and I have said during some times in which if anyone else was looking at the situation that we were in, or that even if we were, before we started doing a well-being practice, people would have given us license, and we would have given ourselves the license to be upset, to hold resentment, and to shift blame onto people, and because we would have felt wrong. And that's one way to live. But if you do live that way, it becomes the story of your life. In Tim's case, he was going through a divorce in his relationship. In my case, I had some friends who I was very close to, and an event happened, and they chose to, discontinue the friendship. And in both cases, we were both aware that we had a choice about how we were going to deal with this moment. And we were clear that we were not going to suffer any longer than was necessary. And whenever you go through some kind of a shift in a relationship, it provides an opportunity. And oftentimes it's not easy to make it through that period to where you get on the other side of it and you feel whole and you have inner peace. And some people will argue that you never get to that point, and that may be true for them. For me, so far, that hasn't been the case. It has been true for me that I've gotten over those things, or I have grown as a result of it, and I'm actually in a healthier place than I would have been otherwise. But that's just constantly working on myself and making that true for me, while respecting that might not be the case for others. And so Tim and I are very much the same. He's one of my best friends, and he's helped me. And his situation actually happened before the event happened with me. And I remember talking him through it. And we talked for the first year and a half, almost every single day, spending time just really trying to stay on this path of taking care of ourselves while this event was continuing to unfold. And some divorces, and his certainly was one of them, didn't happen overnight. It took place over years. But each thing that came up, we talked about it, and he chose a path that led to peace. So when they talked about how they were going to divide assets, he could have gotten angry about it. He could have been very possessive and attached to things. And he chose to go the opposite way. If she wanted more, he gave more. If she wanted it to be a certain day in terms of custody, he yielded to that. And because it wasn't about her winning and him losing. It was about he chose a path that led to peace. And every decision, he evaluated it from a very conscious place. He said, this leads to peace. And so that's the path he took. In my case, it was the exact same thing. I wanted to be bitter. I wanted to be better, not bitter. And to be better and not bitter meant that I was going to take Tim's lead and his example to choose the path that was going to lead to peace. So instead of saying that I thought our friendship was forever, or that we were going to love each other unconditionally and seek to understand before blaming or passing judgment on each other, I thought that was how we were going to continue to respect our friendship. And that didn't seem to be the case, but accepting that has changed, because acceptance was what was going to lead to peace. And that's the route I took. And I remember wishing everyone who chose to go a different path, as they told me that they were, I thanked them for letting me know that they were going in a different direction, and this friendship had reached the end of the road. And I wished them well in their journey. And this happened over 7 years ago. And over those years, I have come across people and crossed paths. And was it awkward at first? In some cases, it was, but I didn't try to avoid them or anything like that. I wanted to live into choosing the path that led with peace. So if I could say hello and be authentically there, if I could shake hands or give hugs and kind of celebrate the time that we were together in the hug without actually communicating that in a verbal way, then that would move me further toward this path of peace and letting go anything that may be an unconscious or unhealed hurt. I was able to do that. And why did I do it? Because it was a path that led to peace. The same thing regarding my very challenging childhood, my stepfather, where there was physical and verbal abuse present. Why did I forgive and let go? Is because that was a path that led to peace. And had I not, it was going to be present in my future relationships or current relationships in ways that I might not even be aware of. So the title of this podcast again is Don't Be Bitter, Be Better. And when I mention better, I'm not talking about superior. I'm talking about being more conscious, more loving, more forgiving, giving more grace, and practicing expanding your capacity to accept what is. So all those things help contribute to inner peace. And in that way, be better.